Welcome to Love in Brief, a brief ABDL advice podcast focused on issues of love. That's love for yourself, that's love for your community, and that is love for getting together with friends.
Ooh.
And friends who are about to be friends.
Yes.
And friends of friends and new friends.
Whoa, so many friends.
So many friends to be had in the form of munches. That's our topic today.
What's a munch? Is that like I'm hungry, like munchies?
It sounds like it, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, no, I mean, you can eat at a munch, but you don't have to eat at a munch.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah. We're going to talk about all that and more. I'm just so glad that everybody tuned in to, as far as I know, the only advice podcast that never has a bathroom break.
Yes.
I was thinking about that earlier. We've never once paused for a bathroom break.
Intermission. No.
Yeah, you don't get
You're
one.
the entire time.
Sorry if we go long, everybody. but-
Yes, used to be brief, getting longer and longer, but that's okay. At some point we'll hit intermission, but
When I was first setting up this podcast and I had this idea to do a very brief drive time, like 15, 30 minutes, whatever, to get to work. And I was like, it'll be great. You'll just listen to it on your way to work and then it's over.
Yep.
And then I haven't learned how to shut up. And so it gets longer and longer.
It's so good.
Well, I'm glad people still like
I
it.
feel like if we graph this, though, like the average length of each podcast over time is a steady increase.
Yes, yeah.
The exponential growth? I don't know.
I hope it's not
Hope it's not.
exponential. Good Lord. But we are really excited to talk about munches today. Munches is not a term I had ever heard until I entered the BDSM world.
Likewise. Yeah.
And I honestly, for a long time, had no idea what it meant.
Yeah.
And now just this week was at one. So that's how far
really?
we've come. Yeah.
You were at a munch this week.
I was.
Tell me about it.
I was at one put on by you, actually.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Weird,
that's right.
huh?
You were there. I forgot about that.
I have never held a munch myself. I'm not a great event organizer. So I am really excited to learn from our guests. And I wonder, Teddy, if you would be willing to, I'm RY, by the way, everybody.
I'm Teddy.
Resident, yes. And Teddy. And Teddy, I wonder if you would be willing to introduce our guests.
Yes. So we have two fantastic guests on today. They are both organizers. They both happen to be in the U.S. One of them is in Salt Lake City, and one of them is in D.C. So we'd love to kind of dive in and hear a little bit about them.
Awesome.
So first, let's start with Lolly. Lolly, tell us about your love.
Hi, I'm Lolly. I think my love right now is my admin team. It's a newer thing for me to have help, and I am very, very appreciative for them and all of the effort and energy that they put into our local group.
You have an admin team for your local group? That's so cool.
Whoa.
It's newer.
Sure.
I had to get used to accepting help
Yeah.
and asking for it. But yes, they're amazing, and we're working on making the group bigger and better.
Awesome. So like intern opportunities here, or?
Are you bringing on interns?
I mean, if you want to help out, sure.
All right, I'll be there. I will say I totally identify with that. Like before Teddy and Lola came on and some of our other amazing transcribers and people who have helped produce the podcast, I was overwhelmed, but I didn't know how to share that labor and how to ask for help, and to have other people like Teddy and Lola producing and helping out has totally changed the game. We make better podcasts. We make more podcasts. Our community of scribies has come together to bring us all kinds of amazing help. So when you talk about your love for your admin team, boy, I feel it.
Yes.
I feel it.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to accept help, and my group here has been like my baby, and so it's like,
Yeah.
here, I'm handing my baby off to other people. Please don't
Yeah.
kill it.
Yes.
Exactly.
I've been there too myself. Yeah, I started this group out locally here about a year and a half ago, and at some point I realized I need some help in this, and
Yeah.
so I brought on one of my best friends, and then two other people that are in the local group. So there's four of us, kind of like a committee now, and able to spread the duties of planning events, even just bringing things or buying food for them. It's been a big help. It takes a community. It really does.
I'm pretty sure we just had our first piece of advice on
Yes, we
accident.
did. I know.
Get help.
We'll get there.
Get help making it happen. Don't go it alone.
Yes. But first, I'd love to introduce our other guest so we can kind of set the stage.
Yeah.
So our second guest today is DCDino from a place that is in his name. So DCDino, tell us about your love.
Hello, everyone. My name is DCDino, and my love right now, I think, are just my friends in this community. because they have really gotten me through some hard times, both, recently and also just in the past. And it's been an incredible journey.
I know that feeling too.
Yeah.
And
having people in the community who can get you through hard times. Like when we all hit rock bottom sometimes. And people like Teddy in my life that have helped me through those times, and then I'm able to reciprocate when I can. Yeah,
and he absolutely did.
So powerful.
Yeah, both of us have been there. Friendship's a very powerful thing. There was actually a point in my life where I did not understand friendship. I was working hard. I didn't have any friends outside of work, and I was like, why would I want friends? What are they good for? And then I joined this community, and I was like, wait, there's people that actually really know me at a deep level and care about me, and it was a really big game changer for me. So
yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm glad you have some support there.
Absolutely. And I also just, what you all were saying, I second on the love for my admin team, because we really can't do it without co-organizers that we have here too. So
I wonder if we're already dispelling some myths about Munches. The first one being that you have to do it solo, right? Like you may be the person who has the idea to start it, but you don't have to do it alone.
No.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. So we're off to the races. I think before we get any further, Teddy, can we talk about what is a munch?
Yeah. I actually pulled the definition from Urban Dictionary.
Oh, nice.
It is a casual social gathering for people involved in or interested in kinks. So it is a term specifically for the kink community, which is why
we
like
hadn't
myself
heard it.
and like you, have not heard of it before, And now it's just second nature. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the munch. But really, most people may not have heard of that. And so when you're thinking of a munch, it's very casual. Like that's the key word that stuck out to me there. So there's no like fetish, kink, BDSM sort of activities. You're really there to socialize and meet like-minded people, right? The goal is to get into the people and meet the people that are involved in it, not actually sample the kinks themselves. That was the definition that kind of made sense to me the most.
That was the dividing line. We're not doing kinky things.
Right.
We're meeting kinky people.
Exactly, and kind of going from there.
Oh, interesting. Does that hold true for you, Lolly and DCDino? Is that how your munches are? That's how those behave? That's how they act?
I can say for me, yes, we absolutely have different types of events, and one of them is a munch. We call it a happy hour, but it's the same kind of idea, where people are, the dress code is vanilla, meaning, what you would wear on the street, not explicitly ABDL or age play related. And, it's often held in a public venue, a bar that's open to the public. So, there's a mix of folk. And so it's just about getting to meet other people in the community on a human level, making friends. And then, we have other events like parties and things where, you can dress however you want.
Lolly, how about for you? Is that true
it's very
for you?
similar here. I always kind of think of munches also as like when you meet someone from online dating and you're finally meeting in person. Like you want to be safe, and meet them in public and have other people know where you're meeting. And it's mainly just, it's new and shiny and you want to make sure that you're being safe about it. And it's supposed to be very low key, very casual. I have a lot of people come that are very anxious, and it's good to remember like how I felt during my first munch, and have other community members that are very welcoming to help out with that.
Right. So like when somebody shows up for the first time, I mean, are you there to like welcome them, help them feel a little more comfortable? I mean, that's what I try to do with mine. I was like, oh, hi, welcome in. Let me give you a little tour or something, if it's something that would help them.
Yeah, very much so. If I see, most people that come through the door, we have our munches at a local park when it's warmer, and if not, in Denny's, and it's like a private party room. So it's still public, but we can be a little loud. And as soon as people walk through the door, I try and greet them and say hi and, ask them about if it's their first munch or how many munches they've been to and, their story about joining the community and how they found us and stuff.
I love knowing that somebody is there just waiting for those new people. Because I noticed that, Teddy, when I went to your munch this weekend, that like it wasn't time for RY and Teddy to catch up. Like you were like, hey, what's up? And immediately turn your attention to the new folks.
Yes.
Because it was about welcoming them, helping them feel
Yeah, I was,
comfortable.
I'll just even in like, are you comfortable with a hug? Just even offering that sort of warm embrace if they're comfortable. Obviously, consent forward.
Yeah.
But asking that question, and just showing them right away, like, you are welcome here.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah. And it does differ from maybe a house party that way, where, at a house party, you might already know a bunch of people, and you've maybe been vetted through a bunch of people, and this is really, there's some brand new folks. This may be, for a lot of people, the first time they ever meet anybody ever.
That's been my experience with my own group, and I want to ask our guests too that. But I mean, I'd say probably 80+% of the folks that have come out to my Munches have been first-timers.
Wow.
Never met another person in real life. So, we've talked about on this podcast before some of the gateways to getting into this in person, going to dungeons, going to diaper stores, conventions. And here's another one, right? Going to Munches. And this is going to be a common experience for a lot of people out there. This is a relatively easy way to get started because it's in a kind of more relaxed, casual environment versus, those that go to Capcom for the first time, diving right in. So.
Yeah, that's why when people tell me their first event was Capcom, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because if you think about, we did the Dungeons episode, right? And we said, hey, go check out your local dungeon. Imagine that's a pretty high bar if somebody has never participated in kink activity before.
Yep.
But to go to a Munch, we're talking about something that is not, there's no kink behavior necessarily.
Right.
There may or may not be any kink talk. There may not.
Yep.
But you're really incognito in a public place and doing mostly very normal things. That feels like a nice low bar of entry.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really catered. The public ones are catered more towards those with, lower risk profiles. Maybe you have a high profile job that you don't want to have anybody notice you, or you're brand new. So there's, a little bit more of a casual in-person public environment. So yeah, I definitely agree. DCDino, I'm curious. So if somebody were out there and maybe we've already kind of sparked some interest in that, where would they go, for example, for your Munches to find information about these events?
Great question. Yeah. So I mean, first our group, the DC APDL group, is now known as CapDL, Capital H Players and Diaper Lovers, to play on capital because we're in the nation's capital. But yeah, if people are interested in going to our Munch, the happy hours, which we encourage people to do because exactly for the reasons you all mentioned, just it's a great way for people who are new to the community to make friends on a very human level, very casual, style, and very approachable format, right? It's something that you're used to if you've been to any happy hour, really. But you can find the information. We post it on our FetLife, which is, a kink-oriented website where a lot of APDL groups are. And then as well as our kinky socials, like we have an Instagram account for our group, Blue Sky. And then oftentimes, people just spread it by word of mouth. And we also partnered with ABU, so they have flyers of ours that they hand out to people who stop by the shop.
Wonderful. Yeah. And Lolly, same question to you. I mean, if somebody is in your area or wants to go to a Munch, like, are there any other ways that they could find your group?
Yeah, we have our group on FetLife. It's called Salt Lake Age Players. We don't currently have an Instagram. I know some people have like a kinky Facebook, but that's not really my jive. But so we're mainly on FetLife. And we have 2 Munches a month on the first Wednesday and third Tuesday of every month from 7 to 9. And we have a Discord as well, but it's for those who have been to at least one Munch. So there is a little bit of vetting that goes on there just so that people in our Discord feel a little bit safer and it's not just random strangers joining. But yeah.
Yep, that's been my approach too. Sorry, DC, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the same thing. We have a Discord as well, but it's for people who we say, like, if you want to join, come to one of our events first. And it's kind of a way to vet, to make sure people aren't just online only and not really interested in participating.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's been my experience too. Yeah. my approach, like, again, I'm hearing some common themes here. FetLife groups. So there's a calendar on there of events. So if you happen to travel somewhere to a city, or you want to check out your own local city, go into FetLife, go to the events tab, put in your location, and just kind of scroll through, see what there is. There's some group pages, fantastic ones, like DC mentioned there. And Discords, yes. So in my situation, for my group, I have a FetLife group, but it's private. So you have to request to join the group to hear about the events. You go through a little bit of a vetting process. What's your name? Just like, what are you interested in? Like, what are you trying to get out of this? And then once you're in there, you get the event details. You go to an event, and then once you're there, you can get into our Discord server. So that's kind of the path. Sounds like for all three of us, that's kind of been the story so far. So
I can imagine this goes both ways too, because while you are vetting, even lightly vetting potential attendees, they're vetting you too.
Yes.
And being able to get onto a Discord, get onto FetLife group, and just sort of either ask a basic question, hey, are people actually going to be cool? Do people ever wear weird stuff that I should be concerned about? Being able to have that interaction, I would imagine, sets people at ease.
I would imagine so too. Yeah. I mean, and safety, I mean, for the folks listening to us out there, I'm sure safety is a primary concern, right? So for you two, let me maybe start with Lolly here. What are some safety mechanisms that maybe you have, or if somebody's cautious about coming out, how can you reassure them that it'll be a good experience?
So on FetLife, when I post our events, an event is basically the same thing as, well, events can be private or public. So if it says Munch, then it's usually public and it'll have like an address. But in the events tab on FetLife, like there can be private parties too. But so for the Munch events on FetLife, I will be very particular and very descriptive about what is okay and what is not okay at a Munch. Like, if you want to wear a diaper and it's under clothes, that's fine. But we're not going to pull out our pacifiers. We're not going to drink from sippy cups. We want it to be very low-key. We don't want to, have unwanted extra attention given to our group. And it's just very casual. And, yeah.
Yeah. You called out this thing about it's very clear what your expectations are, that we're not going to pull out our passies and sippy cups. Do you use any method to make sure people have read that or agree to it? Is there any kind of exchange where you're basically confirming, hey, I read the rules, and yes, I agree?
There isn't a specific way that everybody has to agree in order to attend the Munch, but I am always on the lookout during Munches, and if people do pull out a pacifier, I ask them to put it away. And then if they don't put it away, I ask them to leave. And if anybody ever feels uncomfortable during our Munches, which isn't, that's not often, it's rare. But I do state, please come to me. Please come to me with any, questions. If you're feeling, unsure about anyone, if someone's giving you a weird vibe, just come up to me and talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for, is to make you feel safe. And it's supposed to be a welcoming, safe space. Granted, any person can walk in off the street and be like, I'm here for the Munch, because the address is publicly given. But we do try and keep an eye out on everybody that's attending and how they're acting. And, it's our group Munch. So if we're having a hard time with this person, it's okay to just tell them that they need to leave.
Yep.
How about you, Dino? Is there any way that you sort of make sure that you keep things comfortable, safe for those who are attending? And how do you reinforce that?
Yeah, great question. And it sounds like we're very aligned with how Lolly runs Munches there as well. But through a variety of means, I think first, when we post our events on FetLife, they're approval only, meaning you can request to RSVP, but that goes to us first, the organizers, who then check to see if your profile, has any indication that you're ABDL interested or well-versed, and just that, you are a real person, you're not a bot. And then once you're approved, then the location's revealed. But it's not revealed to anyone and everyone. So that's one way. But also, it's in a public space. It's a bar, right? So we're also we take privacy really seriously, like to Lolly's point, and we have the bar checks the IDs to make sure that people are of age and everything else. But so we don't handle any of that. But we do have rules, just like I would say most, if not all, groups. And just by attending the event, you are agreeing to those rules. And so those rules are there, obviously, to help keep everyone safe and everyone comfortable. So we have a whole saved post on like kind of what is and isn't acceptable in terms of what to wear. And it's very much aligned with what Lolly was saying. And what else? I'm just trying to think. Oh yes, we have a similar process. If anyone has any concerns, they're always welcome to come to any one of us. There's 4 of us, so and even if we're not all there, there's at least 2 of us at each event. And I should say also earlier, I meant to say the happy hours we have once a month, so they're every second Friday. But and we have other events too, but just I know we're focusing on the Munches, so.
Yeah, it sounds like you both have like multiple layers.
Yeah.
Without being exclusive, but you have multiple layers of ways to make sure that we follow protocols that are acceptable to everybody.
Right. Yeah. And so if you're out there, kind of looking at a prospective Munch to go to, I mean, you look at the FetLife event page. I mean, you'll see these documents, you see these rules, and you can kind of the vetting goes both ways. Like look at the group page and see if it's a well-run group. And as you can see here, I mean, there's a lot of Munches out there where there's a committee of people. There's a lot of safety considerations. There's rules in place. They've been through a lot of situations, and so safety is paramount. And that's how it is for me too. Like I want to cater my public Munches to those folks that have again not been out there to an event before.
Yeah.
They're very nervous. They're not comfortable maybe even talking about any of this yet. And that's where having a public environment, is very helpful because you literally can't do that.
Right.
Or
right.
you shouldn't, right? And so we always say keep the conversations discreet. You've used euphemisms. Our local group here uses pancakes for diapers because pancakes are fluffy. So that's kind of our little tongue-in-cheek there.
Although it is confusing when we meet at IHOP.
Yeah, that
makes it hard to order, but yes.
Yes, or the Denny's as Lolly
or the
mentioned.
Denny's, yeah.
But so I mean, I keep hearing these kind of themes of making sure that people don't wear certain things or bring certain accessories. So I mean, a big topic that I've heard that people have been talking about are what do you wear to a Munch? Like, what kind of attire should I plan for? So I guess for both of you, maybe DC, we'll start with you. What sort of rules around attire have you put out there?
Mm-hmm.
It's without I don't want to recite the whole thing, but we basically it's like what Lolly was saying, where it's you can wear a diaper under your clothes, that's fine. We just don't want it to be visible, right? And we don't want obvious age play accessories visible, pacifiers, bottles, that kind of thing. It's and if there's anything that's questionable, I always encourage people to ask, feel free to like reach out to us and be like, hey, is this okay? And we can always answer that. But generally just what you would normally wear. And I know that varies by person. So, but I feel like also it really is a place to be casual and comfortable. So wearing something that would make you comfortable is good. That's not explicitly kink oriented, if that makes sense.
Yep. Lolly, anything to add to that?
Just quickly, what DCDino said about safety, we do have group rules posted on FetLife, and while you can't force anybody to read anything, they are out there for everybody to read, and I suggest strongly that everybody reads each group rules that they plan to be a part of. And we also, on our FetLife events, we'll have a link, and it's do's and don'ts, the etiquettes of going to a Munch, and that's helpful for newer people. But yeah, what DCDino said about apparel, I put public appropriate, no visible diapers, like he said, and yeah, I haven't had any major issues with clothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have either. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, with my first year, I had one local issue come up. There was a private event that I was hosting, basically a private munch, and then there was a public component after that. And at the end, that transfer from private to public wasn't very smooth for some people, and so we had to kind of massage that really well. And kind of what I've come up with is this kind of dichotomy where if you have a public munch, again, gear it more towards those that are new to the community who are looking for more of a lower immersion sort of environment, just casual, wear, street clothes basically. And then the private events can be more for those who want that full expression, go wear whatever you want basically, no nudity, no messy diapers is what we say. But otherwise, just that's a place for you to show off and express yourself how you want. And that way, at least there's something for everybody. Right.
It is nice to have both of those options.
Yes.
And to make the distinction between the two. I can imagine if somebody wanted to go to any of your munches that maybe they could even, if they really were concerned about this, they could even come 15, 20 minutes late and sort of look at it from a distance and see, like, does this group look okay? Now, I guess if it's back in a party room, you may not be able to tell, but if it's out in the open.
Like peeking through the window.
Yeah, that would get creepy. Right?
There's a lot of windows.
Yeah. But I mean, I certainly would get nervous a little bit, right? And it's nice to be able to peek in. It's not something you can do necessarily with a dungeon or with a house party, but you can do it with a munch. You can come a little bit later and you can look and see how people are assembling. And if it looks like everybody's not overtly doing things that make you uncomfortable, then you can go join the munch.
Yep. And we've definitely had people say that. That's how they've approached it. They've come, they've sat at the bar, and then they came over to our group because we have discrete indicators that our group is the group. So we have we use Mardi Gras beads to indicate that we are at this certain place or table.
Oh man, I was down in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. You guys were everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Wow,
it's a good thing we're not
ABDL event.
Sponsored by Cat.
Wow.
Yeah. Your group's item may vary by location.
Yeah, we use pink balloons. I don't know why that just ended up happening, but it's easier, like, when we're at a park, like, having a balloon isn't too weird and out of place because people do, birthdays and stuff there. But it's nice to have, like DCDino said, that indicator so people aren't wandering around going, are these my people? What? I don't know. They kind of look like they could be H players.
You also do it. I just learned from you, Teddy, that this is a kink-only word. You do have a word that you could ask, hey, are you here for the munch? That is not, hey, are you one of the diaper people? Which is nice.
The pancake people.
The pancake people.
Yep.
And that way, if the answer is no, it's not a big deal.
Right. Exactly. So I mean, it sounds like, you can kind of ease into it and kind of, baby steps, pun intended, walking into the munch. So once you're there, though, once you actually get the courage to walk into that munch, you're probably going to be nervous. I sure as heck was the first time. So maybe DCDino, we'll start with you. Do you have any sort of advice for those that show up for, like, maybe conversation starters, or how's that first interaction going to go?
Yeah, I will say that I went to my first munch and walked up to the front entrance and almost turned around and went home just because I was so nervous. I was really. Yeah, and I was really glad that I went with my spouse because once we got in, the people were really welcoming there. And, I was still really nervous, but I realized they were actually very cool and very normal people. But so I think, just if you can, remember that people in the groups are generally very welcoming in our community. I'd say even over and above the general kink munches and sloshes that I've been to, I think the ABDL community is very generous and welcoming, and I think we all know how nerve-wracking it can be because we've all been, at one time or another, a newbie. We all went to our first event at some point. So don't be afraid to let someone know that it's your first event. I think that also, if I don't recognize you or if I know it's your first event, I will go out of my way to introduce you to people and make sure you know where everything is. And even at some of our bigger events, we have designated volunteers that we call ambassadors to do that as well.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I think, it's once that hopefully opens up the community to you, then it's easier to kind of launch into getting to know people, and they'll be curious about you too. So
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I mean, we kind of have this kinship built in, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
somebody walks in the door and, you can identify them as, yes, they are here for the munch.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's like, oh, hi, like, welcome. It's so good to meet you.
Yeah, and you both know that you're, as you said, everybody's been frightened at one time and
Yes.
scared, and so you both know that you're coming from we know a vulnerable thing about each other place, and that's kind of an amazing starting point.
Yeah. Yeah. Lolly, what about you? Like, what's been your experience? What was your first munch experience like? And then how do you typically see at your events the first timers kind of interact? And how does that go?
My first munch experience was a TNG munch, the next generation. It was like for, I think it's 18 to 35-year-olds. So it was more general BDSM munch. And I was terrified. I was shaking because I was so scared. And I'm socially awkward and I have a lot of anxiety, but I walked into the coffee shop and I did the thing, and and everybody was just so excited to meet me, and everybody was so welcoming, and it's nice because you already have something similar with everybody. And so you know that you're at least have that one thing that you can go off of. And that one thing is like very cherished and important to all of these people. So it's very easy to relate to one another. My munches, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah. I'm just when you're organizing a munch, what do you typically see for first timers when they first walk in? Like, how does that kind of interaction go when they first get there?
Okay. So the munches that we have are from 7 to 9, and it's a lot of people show up halfway through the munch, and that is totally fine. 7 to 9, you don't have to be there at 7 o'clock. If you need to sit there in your car and, work up the ability to walk in and see some strangers, like, that's fine. But typically, like, I get a lot of messages before the munch of people being anxious and asking what it's gonna look like, how it's gonna happen. And one of the things that I tell a lot of people coming from an anxious person is you can always leave. I know that sounds silly, but having an exit plan helps me feel more comfortable being in that space. Yeah. And by the time that they finally get into the munch and a lot of people just start feeling more comfortable and actually talking back and forth with people, and the vibe changes. Like, the energy is like, oh, we're all friends, as opposed to I'm a stranger and this is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my guess is very few people actually use their exit plan, but knowing that they have it.
Yes. I'm socially awkward and very, very anxious person, so having the exit plan is helpful.
For sure. I'm glad you called this out too, Lolly, because I think there may be a misconception among people who are considering going to a munch, or may even be considering starting a munch, which we'll talk about in a bit,
Yes.
but who may think, oh, no, that's for the hardcore extroverts. That's for the people who are just like super duper confident and super duper outgoing. And you're calling out that, hey, look, I feel socially awkward, I get anxious. You still not only attended a munch, but then went on to host a munch. So it sounds like maybe you're pushing back on that assumption.
Yeah. The munches are here for the community. They're here for the newer people. They're here for us to make friends and unite as a community and feel like we have a place. So, anxious or not, if you're willing to take that step and go to that one munch, it might change your whole world. It just feels so eye-opening, and I wanted to give back to my community, and that's why I saw the need for the munches and tried to fill that need. And I want to make sure that other people have that space and know that, there's other age players out there, and feel welcome and feel like we are actually a community that gets together and can do things together.
Beautiful.
You are warming my heart over here.
Oh my
This just makes me so happy.
That's it. That's
Like-
exactly it.
You felt this welcoming. You saw the need for other people to feel it and just started something. You don't have to be crazy extroverted. You don't have to be a frequent party host. You just have to put out the invite. Amazing. I did get the question too. So I actually, Teddy, you'd be incredibly proud of me. I started a Reddit account this week.
Amazing.
And I'm only 15 years behind everybody else. but I really wanted to explore, like, Reddit is such a good place for people to have dialogue.
Yes.
Yep. So in addition to the FetLife group, what's up, FetLife friends? I now am on Reddit, and I threw out to the Redditors, hey, do you have questions about Munches? And one of the first questions that I wanted to share that we got was from Bibs and Purses, who said, are Munches geared more towards the younger crowd? I'm in my late 40s. I feel like I might be excluded because I'm too old. And I have had this thought too, only because I didn't know the word Munches. And I was in my mid 30s, but I thought, oh, if I don't know the word, it must be for young people. What do y'all think? DCDino, Lolly, like, are Munches, are they targeted toward any particular age, or could somebody over 40, would they be welcome?
No, yeah. I mean, all ages are welcome. We're age players. We can set our own age. And so, yeah, we can be whatever age we want to be. And, but in reality, obviously we're chronological age, and that's fine. All are welcome. I've seen an entire range of ages attend our events and enjoy our events. So it's not necessarily geared. There are Munches out there, not ours, but there are those that are geared towards a specific age group. But they'll say that, on the event, so it'll be clear.
Right, like the TNG that Lolly pointed out. Yeah.
Yeah. If people see TNG, that means the next generation, usually referring to a specific younger age group.
Yeah, I think 35 and younger is generally what I see most common. Yeah.
I remember seeing it the first time and thinking of Star Trek, and I had no idea. Like, it's a very niche overlap, but okay.
Same thing, really.
Yeah, right. Same deal. Another question came up on Reddit from To Something to Care. And this question I thought was great. It's kind of the opposite of what we talked about when we said, hey, here's signs you're going to a good Munch, is like they have rules posted and they have really clear boundaries that they've shared. How about red flags? Are there any red flags that somebody looking into local Munches should look out for? If the address is somebody's house, I feel like that would be a bad sign.
If the address is someone's house, if you're meeting one person and it's in private, that's not a Munch.
Right.
Or a hotel.
And
If it's just their hotel room, you know?
If they're not willing to talk to you about the Munch and answer your questions, that's probably a red flag, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I would say kind of the inverse of what we were saying earlier, right? Like, if they don't have rules, if they aren't meeting in a public venue, how many people have RSVP'd, and who are those people? Or talking, if you know others, whether that's organizers or people in the community, ask them, if they've ever heard of it, what the vibe is like. I mean, at the end of the day, you could always take a friend to go with you, so you're not going alone to something. But yeah,
asking for references is a big thing. Always
so that's
ask.
a normal thing. It's okay if somebody says, "Hey, can I talk to somebody else who's been to your Munch?"
For sure.
Absolutely.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, great idea.
Okay, really good.
Yeah, I'd say just having that sort of organization. If they're the description's nice and long and has like really good details about everything that's going to happen, versus like a one sentence like, we're going to the park today, period. That might be a red flag. That maybe this isn't as organized. There isn't like multiple people doing it. There aren't rules in place. Things like that. So I mentioned Lolly mentioned that do's and don'ts document. I looked at that in preparation for this episode. Fantastic resource. So I'm going to be using some of that same sort of language for myself, because it's great.
We'll have to add that to the show notes.
Yes, I would love to.
Okay, we'll do that.
If that's okay with you, Lolly.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other question that came up sort of in different ways in our thread is like, how do you break the ice? We talked a little bit about that, but I am curious, at Munches, do you tend to have games or activities or anything like that that would help break the ice a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we're inside, I bring coloring and card games and Spot It and Uno, and I try to make sure that everybody knows that those are resources for everybody. And that kind of helps break the ice if you're like, hey, 5 people, you want to play Uno? And then you're doing something together, which gets you talking. That's a big thing. And I do rely on older, the people that consistently come to the Munches and are there, every Munch and have been there for years. Those people are very good about wrangling in the newer people and getting them talking and feeling more comfortable.
Yeah.
I just want to dovetail right off of that, because that is such a critical difference between a good Munch and a great Munch, right? Like, a good Munch will have friends who all know each other and get along. A great Munch will have that, but those people will then welcome in newcomers, right? Because even if they're not trying to be exclusionary,
Yep.
it can feel exclusionary to someone who doesn't know everyone as well. So but it takes conscientiousness to do that. But yeah, no, I think, we have our events at a venue that has some, kind of arcade games. So that's always a great icebreaker.
Nice.
That people want. And a few tabletop games. And I think just having kind of simple questions also can break the ice. Just asking, not like, what your street address is, but what part of the city you're in, or how long have you been here, or what do you have planned for the weekend? Just things that you may uncover shared interests beyond. I mean, of course, we all share ABDL interests.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we can talk about that for a while, but
yeah, and it's also okay not to talk about that,
Yes.
right? Like, it's okay to do
Yeah.
both. And one of the first questions I got this week at the Munch was somebody I had never met before who said, "What kind of work do you do?" And you can answer that as broadly or as specifically as you like. So you can say everything from "I work in law" to "I am the county prosecuting attorney," and anywhere in between. You know what I mean?
Thank you for your vote.
Yeah. So like, you can, it's okay to be vague, and it's okay to and it's even okay to say, "Oh gosh, I'm not comfortable answering that just yet, but
Right.
but here's something I can tell you." And
absolutely.
it's also okay not to talk about kink right away or at all.
Or at all. I mean, that's been my experience personally.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't end up talking about diapers or ABDL in general much at
That
all.
much, yeah.
No, I mean, again, it's like DCDino said earlier, it's almost just like a happy hour.
Yeah.
You're just there and you just hang out and have some fun and meet new people and talk about anything under the sun. It can be like, how's the weather? Or it could be, about sports. Or it could be, you know, like, it could be as like, well, what were some of the traumatic things you had as a teenager because you had this experience?
Yeah, right.
Diapers. Like, you could do
You can
that,
go that deep. Yeah, sure.
So
Sure.
it's across the board, I think. But yeah,
And you all were saying this earlier, but I just wanted to pick up on it again, that like the ABDL common interest is what binds us. And it's a very, very like, for a lot of us, we hold it, deep down, right? It's one of our closest guarded secrets or whatever. So it's in sharing that with others, I think it already puts you in a very vulnerable, but also like open, right, kind of mindset. And so I feel like that creates this community that's just amazing to kind of be a part of.
It does.
And so much closer. Yeah.
It does.
it really does.
It's wild how you can feel so close to a person you've just met
Yeah.
because you share this thing that is so close to your own heart and potentially has felt kind of secretive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
you're
often
finally
get-
meeting somebody else. Yeah. Go ahead.
I often get a lot of people that come to the Munch and they have never shared that they're an H player or an ABDL with anybody else. And coming into a room of, 20 other people that just know this about you, and you don't have to hide it, and it doesn't have to be secretive, and it's not weird. And it just like, I don't know, just camaraderie and feels so good.
Yeah. And I love
not
the
only
point
is
you made about some of the people who have been coming for a long time, actually, that they're there to reach out to the new people. It reminds me a little bit of when we talked about CAP
Yes.
and where Green Knees was hosting the first timers room,
Yep.
where like once you've gone to a Munch a bunch and you know everybody, that's a great time to turn toward the new people. Like if you want to hang out with those
almost
other
like-
people, then hang out outside of the Munch, right? Like
Yep.
you have each other's numbers by now. But man, welcome those new folks
It's
in.
like passing it on.
Yeah, it's like passing it on.
Yep.
Yep. Give back.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I wonder if we can turn the corner into hosting.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Because I did get a bunch of questions on Reddit about hosting a Munch.
Great. Yeah.
And the first question that came up really consistently was, how do you decide on a location? How do you decide where to have a Munch? Like what makes for a good Munch location and potentially what makes for a bad Munch location?
wow,
Well,
great question.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and start a little bit with my own Munches just to kind of set the stage. But so I've alluded to, I do public and private events. I'm very fortunate to be where I live. We have a diaper store, so specifically catering to ABDL, and so having private events there has been fantastic because naturally it gears itself to the community, and the store owner has been fantastic. Clearing space for us, and basically letting us bring in tables, chairs, games, decorations, anything that we want. So very fortunate there. So I think if you have any spaces in your local community that are like that, that is a great place to start. But unfortunately, not many places do. Beyond that, other private events I've seen, maybe a dungeon space that has, maybe like a free day. You can go in there and have a private event and something like that. LGBTQ centers. Just there's not many options for private events, but if there's something in your community like that that's very accepting of alternative lifestyles, that is a great place to kind of get started. So that's kind of the gold standard to me, is having a private event that also complements a public event. So public events, I think Lolly mentioned the like a community room in a restaurant, somewhere very casual, relaxed, but then has at least some separation from the general public.
Yeah.
And that's where we had it this last weekend at IHOP, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So there's this little back room basically where you can kind of go and just, not have full volume conversations, but still be able to kind of dive into a little bit more than you would just sitting at a table in the middle of the restaurant.
And pro tip on this, by the way, look for places that have been around a while, because those community rooms used to be the smoking section. That's how it was at IHOP. That's why they have them delineated.
I did not actually know that.
Yeah. So back in the day, that would have been the smoking room. So you can look for older places.
Good to know.
It did not smell like smoke.
It did not. All right.
So yeah, what about y'all, DC, Dino, and Lolly? Any advice for people who might be thinking, boy, I'd like to start one, but I don't know what location to use?
Yeah, well, I think, everything that Teddy said, I think rings true for us as well. We have both the public Munches and then private. We have littles parties where people can, wear their ABDL gear. And then bigger events like the Big Diaper Fiesta, where we rent out our local dungeon just to have an all ABDL party and evening.
Fiesta.
I'll be there. That sounds fun.
It is. It's once a year, and we have a local ABDL community member who's also a fantastic DJ. Yeah, the whole 9 yards. It's great.
Cool.
But yeah, so for these events, right? For the public ones, we find a bar that is gonna be relatively inexpensive, right? Affordable for people. And then we're also thinking through what's public transit accessible, right? So people can get in and get out easily. And then, parking is a concern as well for those who are driving in. So just having information about that is helpful. But picking somewhere that's central, right, to kind of everyone, so it's not like way out. And, that's why we try to keep it in DC, because we have people from Virginia and Maryland and even beyond coming. So we're kind of central to all of that. But and then as beyond the public events, finding private space in the city is difficult. We do not have, we do have the ABU warehouse but it's up in Baltimore.
Baltimore,
it's a little bit of a trek. Yeah.
Although partying at the ABU warehouse sounds pretty fun. That sounds like that could be a good time. Yeah,
it is. We've co-hosted events with ABU there, and it's
very fun.
It's a great time. But yeah, the dungeon, our local dungeon, the Crucible, We do the once a year event there, and then honestly, the best spaces that I found for like our littles parties have been like you all were mentioning, the gay bars and gay clubs
Yep.
that are very kink friendly. And the way I found that out was just by looking at their website or through friends who go to other kink events, and I'm like, wait a second,
Yeah.
Lights Out Barks Out Lobo is a pup play event, and they're sponsored by ABU. Why aren't we there? And so then
Yeah. I do love this idea that Teddy shared too of like go in. I think we talked about this on the dungeon episode, but go in and ask like, is there a time that you wish you had more people here than you don't? And they're like, yeah, Sunday evening.
Yep.
Great.
That's exactly how we came to an agreement. I mean, it was really scary going to talk to the manager at this
I can
club,
imagine.
but I was just like, hey, my name's DCDino. We host an ABDL group, and he was like, what's ABDL? So I had to explain that. And then he was like, okay, sure. Like we'd love to have it on Friday evening, which is perfect because that's when their dead time is, it's like, great.
Yeah.
Yep. That's perfect.
That's great.
That actually leads to another question that came up online. Overthinking a little asked on Reddit, what kind of things do you talk about with the venue people beforehand? So whether it's an IHOP or, as you said, the gay bar that in town, like what do you tell them and how is it received? And I would love to know, Lolly, from you, like, how did you have that conversation to get things started?
So when we're in the park, I don't have to worry about it.
Sure.
We
The
usually
squirrels ask very few questions. Yeah.
I try and find places that are free, so nobody has to pay a cover charge or has to feel obligated to buy anything. And yeah, I mean, we don't put money towards renting pavilions, but there are a ton of them, so in the park it's not a big deal. At Denny's, we at first I told them we are an alternative lifestyle group that's online that meets twice a month for get-togethers. And then as the managers and employees ask more questions, I just openly answer them, and they've been very receptive. They honestly don't care. Like, we're not doing anything inappropriate, and I've had some of the workers ask if they can come and color with us. Like, they just love our group.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Love that. Love that.
That's a great story. It almost reminds me of the Capcom staff. They wear like character shirts and
they're the best.
silly hats and everything.
They're the best. Teddy, how did you have this conversation with the venue? Because by the time I got there this week, they were so happy to have us. Like, the server even said, "I've so been looking forward to you guys coming."
Yeah. So so this was the first time I was at this venue in particular. So I actually called about a week in advance. I just made sure that hey, so we have this group of this size coming in at this time. What sort of space do you have available for that? They mentioned their private room. I was like, great, that's what I was looking for. So that kind of sold me on the venue. Yeah. And I got there about an hour ahead of time to make sure that it wasn't too busy, and because they wouldn't take a reservation for like our specific group.
Yeah.
But I talked to them and just made sure that they were comfortable with a larger group. And we were very, very clear beforehand about attire with our local group.
Yeah.
Like even sending out like a little we had like a little flyer that we created, a digital flyer that had like examples of appropriate outfits, and we can reuse that for future public events. But I ultimately felt good that nothing was going to kind of trigger some side eye or anything. Like, we were just a group of friends coming in, didn't need to, if we go back there and keep doing it, then, I might be a little bit more specific, but ultimately, I mean, everybody followed the dress code, street, vanilla, grandma attire that you might see online. And the event went really well. And we had a wonderful waitress that was just excited to be there. So
for sure. She was the most adorable little human who was just so fired up about us being there.
Yeah. And they don't need to know the full details. Again, like Lolly said, if they ask and get into more, then we can dive into that. But you don't have to volunteer all of that right up front.
No, and I dare say, based on attending, I don't think anybody would have guessed which alternative lifestyle, if any, we were a part of.
No, I don't think so either.
What about you, Dino? Do you have any advice for talking to venue owners?
Well, so again, we have two different, for the public events, for the Munches, I advise people that, we generally avoid volunteering any information about our group to the bartenders and or other staff, just because, if push comes to shove and they're like, well, why is there this huge group? I tell them just say something like it's a gathering of overlapping friends. It's probably more than sufficient. And it's honestly true. So, just meaning like we're friends of other friends, but we haven't all met each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It is helpful too to tell people not to tell, right? Because you might have somebody at one table who's like, "We're all diaper people," and you're like,
"Whoa!" Yes.
Yeah.
So a good answer is, "Hey, go talk to Dino over there."
Have a quick story. The first time I did a public event at a restaurant, so I was used to private events. That's where I started this group.
Yeah.
And I usually in my private events have name tags, and so I brought those to this public space. And somebody had said to one of the employees, like, "Oh yeah, we're a group of friends." And then they were like, "Well, why do you have name tags?" I was like, "Oh no!" Thankfully, somebody else walked up to them right at that moment and kind of distracted them. But that was a good lesson for me, right?
Online group.
Online group, yes.
That's
We
how
noted
I
the bad with
around
names.
There you go.
Or friends of friends.
Yeah, friends of friends. Sorry, Dino, I totally cut you off on your second piece of
No,
advice.
you're fine. No, I was just going to say for the private events, obviously because people are openly wearing fetish gear, ABDL gear, the event staff and the managers do need to know who we are, what we're about. So that's just those conversations I have well in advance. Just like I was saying, how we set up our Littles parties, so that we can, figure out all the details before anyone shows up, right? And so by the time people show up, we have our own space, and no one's going to bother us. And if they do, they should let me know because then we can report it to the staff because they've got our back. So it's very helpful.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think it's just being forthcoming and, being honest without having to say the full answer. Just prepare them for a big group, give them a kind of a general explanation, and then be prepared to dive into more if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so I was curious. So what's been your experiences with folks coming in and then like walking away with friends? Do you say that that's pretty common where like maybe you'll come to the event not having met anybody and then walk away with friends that you can kind of hang out with otherwise? How common would you say that is?
Extremely common.
Agreed.
Extremely common.
Wow.
Here's a wise bit of advice that I got from actually a work mentor of all places. But, he was saying about just kind of work happy hours, right? Even if like you go to a happy hour and or a munch, right? And you don't know anyone, right? There's all these people that you could meet, could be great leads, could be great friends, whatever. Even if you only meet one, that's a win. Like you don't have to meet everyone there, right?
Yes,
You become friends with everyone.
For sure.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure people put on themselves about that.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've seen too, and Lolly, I want to hear from you too, but I mean, you come out to the event, you have this public space where you can't get into a headspace, you can't wear what you want, you make a nice friend. Maybe you guys can meet up next week, and that's one of the houses, or go to lunch or dinner together, and then get closer to each other, and then eventually you can create a space where maybe you can just hang out and wear diapers and watch a movie or something. Who knows, right? Mm-hmm. But it all starts from that munch, and that's I've seen my group kind of flourish with that, these offline friendships almost. Yeah. Lolly, what advice do you have there?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen because I joined the community in 2011. And I've been running the Salt Lake H Players group since 2012, so it's been a while. And I've seen a lot of friendships made. I've seen people get married. I've seen play partners happen.
You've seen people get married?
Yeah, they met at my munch and now they're married.
Oh, that's adorable.
What?
Yeah, and so it's nice to see those friendships and those relationships grow over time. And really, just everybody is so welcoming and typically very friendly. And so it's fun to be able to, find these people that you feel safe around and that you really click with, not just on an age play level, but other levels. And you go, hey, do you want to make a D&D game together? Let's do a campaign and, 8 other ABDLs chilling in diapers playing D&D.
Yep. That happened to me this week. I made plans with somebody that I hung out with at the munch to go play arcade games together.
Know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
My
Yeah,
gosh.
no, that's absolutely true for us too. I mean, our group has been active since 2016. I've been active even longer, but yeah, we have at least one marriage that I know of that's come out of our group, and
Wow.
and other relationships. It's incredible, but
I'm trying not to give people the impression that you should go to a munch in order to meet your spouse.
No,
but
no,
damn
don't
it,
do that.
apparently it kind of works
Two for
sometimes.
two, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
It works
It
sometimes,
kind of works.
but don't expect it. That shouldn't be an expectation.
no.
For sure.
One thing, I mean, that on that line, I travel around a lot, if you haven't heard, and one of the events that I went to was actually the Austin, Texas local munch. I was just passing through and it happened to be on the same day, and they had this great system where you walk up and there's this color-coded bracelet system that you can put on to to identify your role. So top, bottom, dom, sub, little, daddy, whatever. And so each one's a different color. And then if you put it on your left wrist or your right wrist, determines if you're looking for a partner or if you're not.
Oh,
I
interesting.
thought that was a really cool system. So yeah, I think
That's neat.
Don't go in with that expectation, but amazing that both of you had that experience.
Yeah. That's really
That's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, also to that point, I think that's why we emphasize, coming in and making friends, right? If more develops from that, great. But if not,
Yes.
it's not expected.
Which is just kind of a good rule for socializing in kink in general. Like, go talk to human beings like a human being.
Right.
And then if something amazingly erotic happens or something amazingly romantic happens, great.
Yeah. Don't just walk up and say, wet, messy, or both,
Yeah, that's a bad opening line
start.
in general. Friends, we're about at time. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about that we have not yet addressed?
I just have really random things that I thought throughout the time that we've been talking.
Yeah,
for it.
bring it on.
So when we're talking about venues and stuff, I agree with everything that DCDino said. I also am very particular about it being central and accessible to people that don't have cars. I also try and make it wheelchair accessible. And like the Denny's, it has a bunch of windows. It's basically all windows, so you can see through and you can see everything that's going on. So you're not just walking into a dark room just hoping that this is the right place and that nobody's super weird. But also, one of the things that we do is introductions at our munches, and that does help break the ice a little bit. We typically have one question that we ask, and it's fairly low key, what's your favorite color? What's a cartoon you're watching right now? And then we go around and we ask people to introduce themselves by whatever name they want to go by and their pronouns, and then that does get people talking a little bit more and feeling more friendly with each other. And you might be sitting next to the person but you forgot their name because it was 5 minutes ago and you were anxious and now you know it again.
Yeah, that's good.
That's great. Yeah, more things to break the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, also don't be afraid to, if you forget something, ask someone. I mean, it's ironic because I run these munches, but I'm so bad with names.
Same.
I forget names all the time.
Same.
It's so hard.
Yep, me too.
Is that just a human thing, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I guess I just wanted to add that it's been so rewarding to help grow this community in DC, and because I just echoing a lot of what Lolly said, but creating space for people to come together and feel accepted and be themselves is just awesome. And I always thank everyone for coming out to our events because it really is about them. If they didn't show up, we wouldn't really have an event,
Right.
So
They make it. They make it what it is.
Absolutely.
And it just takes one person coming back to you and saying, boy, you've made an impact
Yep.
on my sense of well-being or my life or how I feel accepted or how accepting. I mean, that's a drug, friends, you cannot
Feels so
replace.
good.
It
Yep.
does. It does. And I happen to do it through the podcast and you guys do it through Munches and other ways. But once you've given back to somebody else the way that you felt, comfortable, safe, accepted. Oh my God, you never again.
Like
Well,
it's this floating feeling.
it's so
it's
good.
Incredible. Yeah.
So the benefits to the organizer are huge.
Yes. So if you have any interest in it, just maybe start with your own local group, or we'll in a minute talk about how to reach out to our guests here or us. So one final fun question real quick. What's been your favorite activity that you've done at a munch, whether it's your munch or another munch?
Ooh,
yeah. So I'll give you a second to think about it. So for me, I was thinking about it. Last year we did this tea party event in our private space here, and it was just such a fun time. We we bought these teacups where you could decorate them, like basically coloring, but the tea cups themselves, and we had the whole room like with streamers, and it was just like this summer fun, flowy vibe.
Love that.
Yeah, it was a great event. So. What about you two? Yeah, anything that stands out?
Man, I was going to say, you guys have such cool activities. No, actually, what we have at our Littles party is pretty fun. We have, a lot of this is just volunteer led, right? Like we have community members who will come in and they were doing face painting for anyone who wanted it, right? And that was really cool. And for other events, we've had community members bring in, these are private events, but play space equipment, right? So people can get on the mats and just chill out and bab out, right? And so those are some of my favorites activities, I guess. They're not technically at a munch, I guess, but at an event.
Still, yep. Lolly, what about you?
So we have Munches, which we've talked about are public, and then we'll do public events. So it's basically the same thing as a munch, not kinky, not ABDL wear, but we're in public doing something together. So like we've been to a pumpkin patch, we've been up and built a campfire together, bowling, arcades, things like that, and those are really fun. And then we have private events too, which are just, RSVP, and you have to be accepted in order to come and known. And some of the private events that we've done are we made cardboard forts and then did a Halloween thing where you trick-or-treated and knocked on the cardboard forts to get your candy. We've done like pumpkin carvings. One of the public ones that we did was an Easter event, and I really loved that because it was fun to hide all the Easter eggs and have everybody be excited about finding them. Yeah.
So festive. Love it.
Yeah.
RY, what about you? What's been your favorite munch activity?
Oh my gosh. So two, I'm gonna do two.
Whoa.
One was I was at a munch in Minneapolis of all places, and they did a round table. So it was in the back room. It was a private room. So in this case, we could be a little bit more open, right? And there was a roundtable activity that had each person tell some facet of their kink that they think other people might enjoy or think is neat. And I was like,
wow.
And it happened to be a general BDSM munch in this case, but I got to hear about all these other kinks and what made them special. I thought that was really cool. The other one was actually recently at this munch when we got to paint pottery together, and everybody would like chip in with their like advice. I had one person who's kind of an artist who said, here are complimentary colors if you want them. And so everybody was like helping everybody else out, because not all of us, including me, are great artists.
No,
so,
I wasn't either.
Right? So it was so cool to see everybody collaborating in this pottery painting place. I thought that was great.
That's amazing. Yeah. That was such a fun day.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to wrap up here, if folks going to reach out to you or your groups, I guess, how can they reach you? So maybe DCDino, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I am at DCDino on most, if not all, platforms. Occasionally DCDino 2, because I don't know, somehow
the sequel.
Got DCDino. But you'll see, it's obvious. It's an APDL account. I put in my profile. I'm organizer for the DC AVDL group, and our group is at DC AVDL on all the platforms except FetLife, where we go by our full name, capital H Players and Diapers Lovers. So that you can reach us there, and yeah, we have, like I mentioned earlier, we have the happy hour every second Friday from 6 to 9, and Littles parties every quarter. And actually, last year we had we hosted our very first overnight hotel invasion, And we'll be partnering with our friends NYC ABDL to host another one this year in August with
Cool.
our page.
Sweet.
Wow. So you're bringing together the DC crowd and the NYC crowd.
Yes.
Very cool.
Love it. All right, Lolly, what about you?
Personally, on FetLife, my FetLife is Little Lolly, one word, And I'm also on Instagram. I'm happy to have people message me on Instagram about it. It's just One Little Lolly 1. And for the group, our group on FetLife is called Salt Lake Age Players. And we have the group Salt Lake Age Players, and then we also have a FetLife profile for our group, which is SLC_Age Players.
Great. And what were the events that you typically run again? Which times of the month?
So we have our Munches twice a month, the first Wednesday and third Tuesday of every month from 7 to 9 p.m. And then we do like sporadic events. We'll have like the public events I was talking about and private events. And we're trying to get back to doing private events one every 3 months. But it's harder now that we have less private venue spaces to count on.
Sure. And Dino, remind us of the frequency of your meeting.
Yeah, we have at least one event every month. So we have happy hours monthly, the littles parties where you can wear whatever you want. Those are every quarter. So like April, July, October, and then January is our annual where we rent out the dungeon. And, it's a big party. So, and the hotel invasion will be in August 8th through the 10th.
And the Littles party, the party at the Crucible, and the hotel invasion, those are kink events. The Munches are the monthly ones.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Wow. And I think this year, without any sort of big convention, obviously SideQuest was at the beginning of January.
Yep.
These local events are going to be a big theme of the year.
They are.
And these more regional events too, right? So this is really exciting to hear.
Yep.
A lot of things going on out there
and
right now.
I truly believe the more of these, the better. The more Munches we have out there in more communities, the better, because it gives people a way to meet other people.
Exactly.
And to build community in person. So kudos to y'all, DC, Dino, and Lolly, for stepping out and creating something where there was nothing. I just have such a heart for that. And kudos to everybody who is running a Munch, Teddy, you, and everybody across the world who has said, I want to have community and I want others to have community. It takes guts to step out there and run that first one. And maybe you only have 3 people come, and then the second time you have 4 people, and then eventually, you're struggling to find a venue because there's too many people coming. You know what I mean? So kudos. And DC, Dino, and Lolly, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
I really enjoyed having you and talking about this.
Thank you.
You bet. I thought of 2 small things. This is what I always do. I always throw my last word in there. 2 small things. One, I want to remove barriers to going.
Yep.
And, it seems like every type of in-person interaction that we talk about, I go, just go. Just go to CAP. Just go. But like this one, literally, there is no lower stakes thing that is in person that I can think of than a Munch.
Yeah. And I mean, one last piece of advice I'll throw in there too is if it's in your city and you're nervous about maybe seeing people that maybe go to the city next to you.
Absolutely.
I did that. I did that. I drove 2 hours. I went to my first event.
Yeah.
Not in my own city, but 2 hours away.
Yeah. I mean, I happen to live in a city that has other cities 45 minutes away.
Yep.
And you can just go to theirs and see what it feels like. And then you get a little more comfortable.
Reach out to the event people. On FetLife, you can look when it shows you the event that's posted. It will show you the organizer. Reach out to them. Ask them the questions.
Yes.
They're used to it. Please do it. Like, we want you there. So just ask us the silly questions. Ask us the serious questions. That's what we're here for.
And if you're worried about seeing your boss or your pastor or your sister there, just remember that if they do show up, you now have something in common.
Well, it's also Vegas.
You both have it, so it's okay. The other piece of advice I was thinking of is, and maybe you guys can help me with this, but don't wait for money to be the thing. You don't have to buy a bunch of stuff to run a Munch.
Yeah.
Very much.
You can just call and reserve a back room at a place, like a Denny's, right? Does that cost you anything, Lolly, when you do that?
Nope, absolutely free.
Dino, does it cost you anything to do your happy hour?
Absolutely not. No, it's so easy. We just say, hey, let's all meet here at this time in this place. And then boom, it happens.
Because we talk about accessibility, right? And even for folks who are thinking about going, you can just go buy a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
There's enough people that are eating that it's fine. You can just go buy a cup of coffee. And,
Absolutely.
or not, or just drink water. I don't think anybody's going to kick you out. But I know that money's a thing, right? And so I just don't want that to be a barrier. Munches can be inexpensive and they can be a very low bar. You can go late. You can look in from the outside first. You can talk to the organizers. You can really engage at your level of comfort. But for folks who are unwilling to go to anything else, try a Munch. They're so simple. So
great advice.
Yeah. Huge thanks to you, Teddy, for putting this together. And a huge thanks to our guests, Dino and Lolly. Friends, get out there to a Munch. And in the meantime, look for us on Reddit. That's a thing now.
Yeah, new thing.
That's it.
That's awesome.
I'm Resident Yes 99 on there. And as always, look for our group on FetLife.
Yep.
That's the Love and Brief podcast on FetLife.
Got the Instagram.
Yeah. Resident
Love and Brief.
Resident Yes is my name, but even better is go to the Love and Brief Instagram because that's where we put all the updates and we take questions and stuff on there.
I'm Teddy Bear with me on Instagram, my personal account. Not very active right now. It's a busy time of the year for me in my profession, but...
Yep. Can imagine.
Yes.
And then, of course, I'm on Tumblr as well. But that's enough from us. Huge thanks to Dino and Lolly. This has been another episode of Love in Brief.